A Battle Unwon, Alive and Lived. Written and read by Rhaenyra. Chapter 6. Daemon. Daemon had no plans to leave either his wife or his son, and he knew well enough that soon the door to their chambers would burst open and their daughters would fall upon them. Laena woke from time to time to smile at him and the babe and touch his downy head reverently, only to fall asleep again, her sleep surprisingly light after her ordeal. She woke each time the babe let out even the softest of cries, and fed him at her own breast. She had refused to arrange for a wet nurse ahead of time, and refused to send for one now. Daemon could well understand. Their son was too precious a gift to hand into a stranger's hands. It was much later than usual that the twins entered their little bubble of contentment, and they did so without the accompanying bustle that he remembered so fondly. They entered carefully, their faces hopeful, voices reverent. "Do we have a brother now, truly?" He gave them a soft smile. "Yes, truly. Come meet Daemon, your brother. He could not wait to meet you two any longer." They gave him matching, beaming smiles and looked at their brother with awe. "He is so small, like a doll," breathed Rhaenyra. "Can I touch his hair?" He let out a quiet chuckle and nodded. It would appear that when it came to the babe, she would be the braver one. It would be a sennight before Laena was allowed to rise and take more than just a few steps. Their family congregating each day in the bedchamber, around the bed containing Laena and the babe, the twins still docile. Daemon regaled them with old Valyrian tales, or sang lullabies, keeping his voice soft at all times, ever mindful of his sleepy wife and the new, mostly sleeping babe. And yet, by the time Laena was allowed out of the bed, with only minor restrictions, her mind seemed to be firmly made up, allowing no opposition. They would leave Pentos for Driftmark within days, and they would do so on their dragons. Daemon was far from content to allow his wife her folly. Her body was not yet fully mended, yet she intended to spend hours in a dragon's hard saddle. She would not hear of delaying, so he arranged for herself to be made comfortable for her situation. She would not hear of parting from their son in case he needed feeding, so Daemon arranged for a special harness to be made for him, to be safely carried even when being fed on a dragon back. The twins would travel with Daemon on Caraxes, the much smaller moon dancer following behind them. Their household and the many treasures they had gathered over the years, far too many to carry on a dragon with a lively set of twins, would travel on their own, on a ship departing before them. Laena seemed to care not that she would be leaving her home of several years behind, and Daemon certainly did not, for he had left it behind long ago. Her only thoughts were of Driftmark and reuniting with her parents and her brother. Her thoughts were on causing mischief, he knew. Laena had forbidden him from sending a message informing her family of their son's birth, or their impending homecoming. She demanded many and more things of Daemon those days, things he was helpless to refuse her. His wife was shameless in taking advantage of his willingness, exploiting his weaknesses as they presented themselves, and for once he was happy to leave her to it. They left Pentos behind not quite a fortnight after the birth that would have killed Laena, flying into the endless sky. It was a heady thing to be back atop a dragon, soaring through the sky without a care as to what enemies could one encounter, and what strategies to use in a fight against the dragon, and what against the armies. They flew over the clouds, and then so low their dragon's claws divided the waves. They did not raise their dragons as they once would, but they did make the long flight pass by quickly, showing off for their girls. Even Moondancer kept up with the larger dragon's leisurely pace without any issues, owing to their countless loops and whirls. When they approached Driftmark mid-afternoon, Laena overtook him for the final time to lead the way for landing, Moondancer disappearing in the clouds as their intentions became apparent. Vagar, followed by Caraxes, circled high tide and let out a bellowing roar to announce her presence to all and sundry, melees and sea smoke crying out in response. Even from a distance, Daemon could see Laena's beaming smile. By the time they unchained themselves and descended from their dragons, there was a smattering of people rushing in their direction, Laenor Velaryon leading the charge. He passed Daemon as if he were not there at all, hurrying to embrace first his nieces and then his sister, slowing only when he noticed a bundle fastened to her chest. "What is this, sister?" Laena beamed at her brother and went to loosen the bindings, Daemon moving to assist her. "This, dear brother, is your new nephew." Laenor looked at Aemon admiringly before scrunching up his nose. "He looks like Daemon." Daemon deemed the punch he received from his sister response enough and kept his peace. Rhaenys, when she reached them as well, was all smiles, and even Daemon was given a hug and a kiss to welcome him to her home. "Come, Corlys is already ordering a feast to welcome you tonight." They were guided to the castle and settled in Laena's old rooms, his cousin promising to clean out additional chambers for their use. The castle was all aflutter by their abrupt return and the presence of the 3 children. The last time any of the Velaryons visited them in Pentos, Laena had yet to show, and now the babe was here. There were smiles on every face they passed, be it a servant, a guard, or a distant member of the family. To Daemon, it truly felt like coming home. The end of Chapter 6. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you in the next one. Bye!